Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman. Well, before we start today's episode, we're just going to give you a couple spots where actually the fish is biting at the moment. And the favorite is obviously the gummy shark. And it's been quite a bit of gummy shark, especially out of St. Leonard's in 20 meters of water, all around the Mud Island, Simon Channel, Pinnacle Channel, even West Channel. Fresh bite. Salmon for a fresh bite, the best. Squid.
Well, squid is my favorite, and at the moment it's around Sorrento and Rye, but it has slowly started on the other side of Melbourne as well, like in Dented Heads, Clifton Springs.
Port Arlington as well. That area started slowly. Hour before the low tide actually was the most successful. And, well, King George whiting, people's favorite at the moment. Leopold is the main spot in Port Phillip Bay. Brett Reed still gets some heaps in Western Port, but we struggle a little bit at the moment. Last year, we had heaps this time, and they're quite small fish. They're 32 to 38 centimeters, odd 40 plus. Same in Corea Bay, same in Swan Bay. The bigger species are in Queenscliff, but they're not as many.
Okay, today's episode is going to be mainly about underwater footage, what we use to film and how we film, and what the advantage is mainly of the Seaview system that we are using at the moment.
I got quite a few questions to talk a little bit more about the Seaview.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do first, we're going to watch this video with me and Jerry going to Port Arlington, and we're catching all these throwback pinkies and little flatheads. We didn't know that just a couple meters above all that, there were heaps of yuccas, so we could stock up on bite. Even there was a couple King George whiting underneath and some red mullet. Red mullet is another story. I got asked how you target red mullet. I'll tell you now, I don't know, because we catch them, it's a bycatch. We never actually gone there and target. I know we catch them on soft plastic, on small plastics. We catch them on squid, we catch them on... basically, when we target King George, in between the King George school, always a couple red mullets there. But it is a bycatch for us, so I can't give you that answer, I'm sorry.
Well, let's watch the first video.
Well, this adventure is from 7th of April 2023, and we are on the way to the old channel. It was just after lunchtime, and even it was a bit of overcast, the weather was just magnificent. We got there pretty quick, and first thing first, I start setting up my burley. Even when I use my fish on burley or here fishy burley pellets, I still sometimes add a bit of tuna oil just to add that little bit of extra smell. I turn on my camera and off it goes. While I was setting stuff up, Jerry was bringing flathead after flathead up. That wasn't a good sign. Also, they were very small, so all of them had to go back. Then, not long after, the burley attracts some pinkies around. So we started bringing all these small, undersized pinkies, so no one keep us so far. Pretty quick, all the rods start to go bananas. So definitely the burley worked. It actually worked pretty good, but we did not manage to get a decent sized fish. We're not even 20 minutes in and we had over 30 throwbacks. Well, underneath the boat, as you see this red slimy grass, it was on the move. And normally this covers your hook, and all the big bite that you have becomes covered by this slimy grass, and the big fish won't even look at it. In the meantime, what we didn't know, we had tons and tons of yuccas around. As you know from my previous videos, we could not see a live feed from my camera as there is no Wi-Fi underwater. That's where our new toy, SeaVu, comes in place. With this new toy we can actually see in real time what's going on underneath us. Since we got asked quite a few questions about the SeaVu and underwater filming, we're gonna actually try to do our best just to give you a bit of a preview of that system and how it works. Now the best part about it is that you can see in real time what's going on underneath you. You can record the pins of your camera, but normally as we do here in 4K, 50 frames a second. It's just amazing that all this technology has gone to the next level. Now, best part about it, it's you can't really just sit there and watch the video while you fish because you're gonna be fishing, but it gives you an idea, hey, there is yakas. So all you do is grab your line, lift it about a meter or two off the ground, avoid flatties, avoid pinkies, and target yaka. That's exactly what we could not do on this day. So we did not catch one yaka because we didn't know they're there. Normally, with my old system, with the camera on the burley bucket, I would grab the footage when I get home, take the SD card, put on my computer, and watch what's going on under the boat. Watching this footage on computer is also fun, but you do kick yourself when you see what you missed.
We're going to do our best today and try to explain the Seaview system and how it works and why we love it so much. The Seaview system is an underwater housing where you need to put your own camera inside, your own action camera, either DJI or the GoPro, either way. And there are 3 different ways how you can use this system.
Yeah, that's right. We got the tripod. So basically this one, you just clip the camera. That's all you do, you just clip it in. And the tripod, when you drop it, it'll go straight to the bottom of the actual and sit there. Now the fin will point the camera in where the current's facing. But now you got your titer cable and which acts as a transmitter. So this thing, actually you put your phone here and it would actually give you the Wi-Fi signal. So basically this plugs into the back of the camera. It's just like so. And then you got the clip that actually goes on top of the camera and you lock the camera. So now this is heavy enough to hold the camera and to drop it straight to the bottom. And what's good about it being so heavy, she sits on the floor and she just films steady. With my bucket, we drop it, it spins around, sometimes films above. So this one, it's actually really, really good. Then to unclip it, you just do this. So basically you take the camera off. You can use it as a, which I love the most, and I can't wait to try this in Portland. You can use it as a trolling camera. So you basically put this fin and you can actually troll this. You can actually, once you drag it, this will sink about half to a meter under the water. You let enough cable, I suppose, you can see your lures and keep the camera there. Once the tuna hits the lure, you should be able to see it. And the third way, it's actually the balloon. I don't have the balloon here. It's in my boat. But what happens is you put a bit of weight. There is weights for it as well. And then you put the fin. Now, this, it's actually drifting. So you put a balloon and you adjust the whatever height you want. Because of the fin, the camera will point in one side. And then you can actually let this, if you see a patch of tuna, you can let this drift slowly and go to actually the tuna patch or whatever. Or if you're squid fishing, you just let it drift in the background. There's a couple more advantages of this. The best thing is you can see all this live. So
also you can see if there is any fish or not.
Well, as you seen before, we were catching pinkies. We had no idea that yakas were there. We could stock up on bite. Jerry loves eating yakas.
Yeah.
Jerry likes eating every fish. He just likes eating fish. But anyway, we didn't know they're there. So anyway, in next video, we're going to show another adventure with me, Jerry, and Michael this time. And we are first at Swan Bay, so enjoy this adventure. Well, this adventure is from 25th of April 2023, and we are at Werribee Ramp getting ready to go to Swan Bay. On a gorgeous day like this, the car park at Werribee Ramp was full. As you can see here, the sandbar was very, very close to the pier, and the passage was very narrow, so only one boat can go through at a time. As you can see, the weather was beautiful and water was so calm, it was unreal, so it won't take long to get to Swan Bay. Halfway there, we slowed down and Jerry landed the catch of the day. I hope that this tube was just something that wind took off and there was no accidents. We continued our trip and we were at Swan Bay pretty quick. I started setting up the cameras, cutting up the bait, and slowly we were getting ready. Target fish today was King George whiting and also garfish. As you see on Jerry's hooks here, little garfish hooks, we were putting a small tuna pieces, and that usually worked for us in the past. No long in the session and we got our first King George whiting. This fish was a little bit too small and had to go back. Well, I threw this fish back and reset it. On the other side, Jerry already had a garfish. That was a good sign, even that Jerry dropped it. As you know from my previous videos, the key for us catching garfish was small pieces of tuna. And today was no different. There was not too many garfish behind the boat today, but they were actually quite nice size. As you can see here, you have to be careful at all times because accidents do happen. I removed this fish quite easy, but the hook in Jerry's shirt, different story. It actually got him pretty bad, so I had to use the pliers and actually rip his shirt a little bit. Well, after that surgery, we reset it again and we start fishing again. The very next fish I got, it was a flatty. While I was reeling the flatty in, the other rod took off. In the meantime, you can pay attention how Jerry works the reel and the rod slowly dragging it back, teasing the garfish. This time the King George whiting that I got, it was a little bit bigger, definitely over 30 centimeters, so that one was invited for dinner. Then the very next fish that Jerry got on the garfish setup, it was a King George whiting. Because we don't use float, his line dropped a little bit too low, and when he got to the bottom, of course, King George whiting, they love tuna as well. Then something a little bit more decent. On my rod, I got a really nice flatty. So I got Jerry to hold on to the rod while I grabbed the net, and we actually landed this nice 50 centimeter flathead. As we all know, flathead is really nice to eat, and when you get this size, it's just a bonus. Then while we took a few pictures of this flathead, Michael got another one, but that one was a little bit small. It is very good idea from time to time to just put a little bit more fresh burley in the burley bucket or just drop some more pellets in the water. That will actually keep the fish around your boat. Since we started getting quite a few fish, I actually took my phone and called one of our friends that actually we knew is on the water to come and fish right next to us.
In the next video, we're just going to continue with the adventure at Swan Bay.
In the second part of this video, nothing changed. We actually managed to catch some, managed to lose some, then they pinched our bite, and yeah, it just kept going. The garfish was still around, but not in big numbers. Here again you can see if Jerry's rig dropped to the bottom, he was catching King George whiting. A lot of King George whiting we got on this day was too small and had to go back. Even they were sized, they just had not enough meat on them. This whiting actually took pieces of tuna that Jerry had set up for garfish. On the other side, I was catching them on Reedy's rigs using pilchard and small pieces of squid. In the meantime, Jerry changed his technique a little bit. He actually started casting the garfish rig a little bit further from the boat and then slowly winding it back, not allowing it to hit the bottom. So basically just keeping it a meter, or well, half a meter if you can, under the surface. And he was much more successful like that. Here is a close-up of our garfish rig. And yeah, it's just a long shank hook, small tiny long shank hook, and all we do is just put a small piece of tuna on it. That's it. Well, after all the flathead that Michael got today, he actually managed to get his first King George whiting as well. As you can see here, Jerry put his rod in rod holder, so the actual split rod sinker took the hooks right to the bottom. So the very next fish, of course, King George whiting. Well, a minute later, Michael got another King George whiting. So it looks like he just managed to get the feel for it. Then Jerry managed the first double for the day.
Oh, double trouble. Oh, давай бандиты, да?
From here, we actually had a non-stop action. So we had some King George whiting, some garfish, of course, more flatties, and yeah, it wouldn't be a Swan Bay if you don't get a banjo or a puffer fish. Well, Jerry took care of the banjo, and yes, Michael managed to take care of the puffer. With all the boxes ticked, it was time to go back home. In the meantime, we actually made a quick stop at Prince George and just got a couple squid as well.
The next video is a very recent adventure. The boys ended up going to Port Arlington and Mud Island. They caught lots of fish, but not one keeper.
That's right. We actually get asked, how come you always catch fish? Well, sometimes we get donuts as well. So it's not that we always catch fish.
Well, you caught heaps.
Yeah, but again, no keepers. Let's watch this video. Well, before we started this adventure, we actually filled up a bag with red bullets. I actually love mixing my burley, so I do use the red bullets, I do use the here fishy burley, I do use pellets and then add some more oil to it, tuna oil. So it just depends what works on the day. I found that red bullets work really good in snapper season. I found that actually here fishy burley actually works really good for King George whiting. So yeah, just keep improvising, that's all I can say. Also, if you got some leftovers, pilchard or squid or whatever, just freeze them again, and when you get back out there, just use them as a burley as well. This adventure is actually from last week, 11th of June 2023. And yeah, the dredging guys are actually at Werribee River and they're doing their job. They removed the sandbar and they're actually opening the channel so it's easier to get in and get out. The day was actually beautiful and we actually were on the way to Port Arlington Old Channel first, and we got there pretty quick. As we got there, there was nothing at the bottom. So I threw a handful of burley, as you can see here, and in no time, pinkies everywhere. As you can see here, the red bullets actually work really good, but the fish around Port Arlington Old Channel at the moment is way too small. No matter what we offered, small bite, big bite, full yakka, whatever, these pinkies were like piranhas. They were actually cleaning us, unreal. After about an hour, we didn't have any keepers, so we had enough of feeding fish, so now we took off to Mud Island. As we got at Mud Island, I actually mixed some burley in my burley bucket. I put some bullets, I put some leftover pilchards, and just made a nice burley trial. That attracted again some fish, but it was unwanted species, like this Port Jackson. Then we had tons and tons of flathead, and every flathead was small. They were about 30 centimeters, but again, way too small. Unfortunately, there was no signs of any gummy or school shark at the moment. Usually this area is full of them, but not this time. Saying that, the area was infested with these little flatheads. One thing that we did catch this day, it was the video of this slug on my right bottom corner. Actually, I never seen this slug before on any of my videos, and it was quite amazing to see it moving through the water the way it is. In meantime, all we were getting is flatties after flatties, so there was no keepers for us today. Well, before we go, I'm just going to add this Wednesday, 22nd of June, we actually at Geelong Marine World, so you're going to see the Happy Fisherman crew. You're going to see me, Mima, Bill, Jerry, maybe all the other boys as well, Ovi. So you're more than welcome to come and say hi. It's a VIP night, so everyone is welcome. There'll be finger food, drinks, free giveaways.
Nice.
Quite a few things actually on a giveaway. And yeah, we're going to have a bit of a chat. We're going to talk about some locations at the moment and where to catch fish at the moment in Port Phillip Bay. So we may see you there.
Well, we actually hope to see you all there on the 22nd of June, Wednesday. And once again, thank you for watching. We will see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.